Number 1. The list shows how fast 4 boys ran a distance of 100 meters. Which correctly compares Anthony's time to Mitchell's time? Number 2. Beverly has the pieces of string shown below. Each string is the same length. If she uses scissors to cut each string into equal sixths, how many pieces of string will she have? Number 3. Miss Nelson bought 3 packages of eggs at the store. There were 18 eggs in each package. When she arrived home, she found that some of the eggs were broken, leaving her with 49 whole eggs. Which equation can be used to represent this situation where B is the number of eggs that broke? Number 4. Desmond earned $28.75 today for washing windows and $26.25 for sweeping driveways. He will deposit the money he earned for sweeping driveways in his savings account. He will spend the money he earned for washing windows during the next 5 days. If he spends the same amount of money each day, how much will he spend on the 3rd day? Number 5. Some crows ate 1/4 pound of peanuts. Some grackles ate 1/10 pound. How much more of a pound of peanuts did the crows eat than the grackles? Number 6. An art studio held a 10-day art class. A teacher plotted the attendance level of the class on the scatter plot below. How many more students attended the class on the 1st day than the 9th day? So you are going to circle for day of class. I want you to circle the 1st day, and I want you to circle the 9th day. So circle 1 and 9. And those are the numbers you're going to go up the line and see how many attended each of those days. When you do that, the 1st day there were 30 that attended, and the 9th day there were 26. So circle those 2 dots, and it says how many more students attended the class on the 1st day than the 9th day. So you're going to subtract those 2 numbers to find your answer. Look at the coordinate grid. Which ordered pair represents a point that is on the vertex of the hexagon? Okay, remember you're going to go out for your X and up for your Y. So for A, you're going to go out 1 and up 3.5. And that is halfway between 3 and 4. Where those 2 lines meet, you're going to put a dot and label it A. Then for B, you're going to go out 3.5 and up 2. And put a point there and label it B. Then for C, you're going to go out 2.5, up 2.5, and label that point C. And for D, you're going to go out 4.5 and up 4.5 and label that point D. And the question was, which ordered pair represents a point that is on a vertex of the hexagon? And if you don't know what a vertex is when 2 points come together. 2 lines come together at a point. So it's when 2 lines come together at a point. Okay, number 8. 55 students, 4 teachers, and 3 parent helpers will go on a trip to a planetarium this Friday. If each student brings $12 and each adult brings $22, how much money will they bring all together? Remember, your adults are going to be not only your teachers, but also your parent helpers. Number 9. Mr. Swanson poured 6 quarts of punch into an empty serving bowl. If he adds 1 more gallon of punch to the bowl, how much punch will the bowl contain? Okay, what you're going to need to do is to go to your reference manual chart, and if you did that, you would see that 4 quarts equal a gallon. So it says Mr. Swanson poured 6 quarts of punch into an empty serving bowl. So if you think about it, you can take 4 quarts out of that 6 quarts and make 1 gallon. So you can convert that to 1 gallon, and then 2 quarts are left over. If he adds another gallon to the punch bowl, then he wants to know how much punch will the bowl contain. So you've got the first gallon plus the one he added, which is 2 gallons and 2 quarts. Number 10. On the periodic table of elements, the atomic mass of phosphorus is 30.974, which shows a way to represent the value of the 4 in this number. Number 11. An ice machine produced 124.8 pounds of ice. If Preston divides the ice evenly among 8 plastic sacks, how much ice will be in each sack? Number 12. Julianne is going to build a prism with plastic cubes. She will choose one of the bases below to form the base of the prism she plans to construct. Julianne wants to construct a prism with a volume of 50 cubic units. Which base should she use? At Transdale Trucking Company, the maximum distance a driver is allowed to drive in one day is 575 miles. If 32 drivers drive the maximum distance allowed tomorrow, what distance will they drive all together? Number 14. 65 hundredths of an inch of rain fell in Brownsville, Texas last Saturday. 3/10 of an inch of rain fell on Sunday. 1 4/10 inches of rain fell on Monday. How many inches of rain fell on Brownsville those 3 days? So make sure you write the numbers correctly using your decimal, and then you're going to have to line your decimals up. Number 15. Tanika's canteen holds 2.2 liters of water. Logan's canteen holds 1.65 liters. Ching's canteen holds 0.5 liters less than Tanika's canteen, which shows the correct comparison of the volume of Logan and Ching's canteens. Number 16. Matthew wrote this numeric expression. Which of these expressions has the same value as Matthew's expression? Number 17. The area of the shaded face of this cube is 9 square centimeters. What is the volume of the cube? Number 18. 3 girls measured their heights. Mulan is 1.34 meters tall. Sarah is 0.09 meters shorter than Mulan. Diana is 0.2 meters taller than Sarah. How tall are Sarah and Diane? Number 19. A rectangular prism is partially filled with cubes as shown here. What is the volume of the prism in cubic units? Number 20. Zachary reads part of a newspaper, part of a book, and part of a magazine every night. He reads for 2.4 hours in all. He divides his reading time equally among the newspaper, the book, and magazine. How many hours does Zachary read a book each night? Number 21. A teacher drew 3 quadrilaterals, 2 triangles, and 1 hexagon on a chalkboard. Which equation can be used to find L, the total number of line segments the teacher used to draw the figures? The list below shows the links of the first 10 fish that Sylvia caught in the Gulf of Mexico last summer. What plot below represents this information? Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to look, and we're going to just mark out the answer choices that we know are wrong. So if we look at the first, A, we've got 0, 8, so that's 8 inches. So there's 2 8 inches and there's 1 9 inch. Then we've got 2 12 inches, 1 15, 2 18, and 1 19. And then there's not any in the 20s. And then there's 1 35. So the interesting thing about this one is you're going to have to convert the foot. So 1 foot is actually 12 inches. So if there's 2 of them, the 8th and the 5th one both have feet. So if you will convert those back to inches, then that will help solve this problem. So we've got 2 8. I see third one. I don't see another 8. Looks like there's just 1 8, so we can mark A out. But we can keep B and C. Now, what's interesting about D is they did not convert those feet to inches, so they put the 2 1s there. But D is not correct because those should be inches, not feet. So let's go to B and C. We're down to B and C. So we've got 1 8 and 1 9. So then we have 2 12s, a 13, 2 18s, and a 19 on B, and then we have 10, 10, 15, 18, 18, and 19 on C. So it looks like B is going to be the correct answer because they converted those feet to inches, and it's 12, not 10 inches per foot. So your answer is going to be B. Hopefully you understood that. Okay, number 23. The dot plot shows the number of computers in 41 homes. Each circle represents 2 homes. How many homes have more than 1 but fewer than 4 computers? Okay, the bottom number line, those numbers represent number of computers, if you see that. So the question's asking how many homes have more than 1 but fewer than 4. So that's going to be, we're going to look at number 2 and number 3. So circle those 2 numbers. Okay, and now we're going to count up the circles in those 2 numbers, and each of those circles represents 2. So we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, and then we have 2 halves, so that would make it 20. Or you could just do 18, 19, 20. So there's going to be a total of 20 homes that have more than 1 but fewer than 4 computers. So it's going to be C. Okay, number 24. Rounded to the nearest hundredth, the mass of 1 United States dime is 2.27 grams, which could be the actual mass of 1 United States dime. So if you look here, we are actually going to have to look at all 4 answer choices. It says when you're rounding to the nearest hundredth, you're going to underline each of those. Getting fancy here. Okay, so when you underline the number in the hundredth place, you're going to look at its next door neighbor to the right. So we're going to look at this number. Sorry, it's not very pretty. Okay, so now that we're looking at those, let's look at F. Since 9 is 5 or greater, we are going to make that 9, make the 5 a 6. But we're looking for 2.27, and that would make that one 2.26. So you can cross out F. So let's look at G. We've got an 8, so you know when it's 4 below, you let it rest. 5 or more, add 1 more. So 8 does add 1 more to the 6, so that would make that one 2.27. So that one could be it. Let's look at the other 2 though. For H, we've got a 1 in the hundredths place, and the 7 is going to add 1 to the 1, but that's only going to make it 2.22. And then it looks like J is going to stay the same because it's below 4. So your answer would be G. Okay, number 25. Mr. Reed harvested 941 ears of corn. He will group them into dozens and place them in sacks to sell at a market. What is the greatest number of dozens he can make? Okay, you're not going to have to worry about your remainder if you come up with a remainder. He just wants to know how many dozens he can make. This graphic organizer is not correct. We have a quadrilateral, which splits into a parallelogram and a square. The parallelogram splits into a rectangle and a rhombus, and then the trapezoid connects to both the rectangle and the rhombus. So it says, which two words on the organizer should switch places to make the organizer correct? F is square and trapezoid. G is quadrilateral and square. H is rectangle and trapezoid. And J is parallelogram and quadrilateral. Number 27. Which input-output table below shows an additive pattern? So you're looking for a rule that you would add. Number 28. The chemist has 0.64 grams of calcium sulfate in 4 flasks. He will divide the compound evenly among the flasks. Which model represents 0.64 divided by 4? So you are going to look to see which of the hundredths flat actually has 64 hundredths shaded in. And then from that, you're going to see which one divided it into 4 equal groups. 29. An entomologist observed that a certain species of insect could walk no further than 0.5 centimeters each minute, which shows another way to represent this distance. Okay, looking on your chart, it looks like there's 10 millimeters per centimeter. So what you would do if you multiplied 0.5 times 10, that's going to give you 5 millimeters. So your answer is B. Number 30. A large pizza at a local restaurant costs $18.55. If Mr. Perez orders 6 large pizzas for a party, how much will he pay? 31. Paulino buys a cup of tea for 95 cents, a newspaper for $1.25, and a muffin for $2.85 each day at a cafe. Which is the best estimate of how much money he spends for the 3 items each month? I would probably round them to the nearest dollar. And then, let's see. I don't know, maybe multiply it by 30. I'm thinking each month, so try 30 and see if that works or something close. Number 32. Natalie walks 2.8 miles each hour. Which model below best represents the number of miles she walks in 0.5 hours? 33. Furio found the value of the expression below to solve the math problem. What is the answer to his math problem? Gabriella is going to make 1/2 gallon of bubble mix. All of the mixture will be poured into 8 plastic bottles. If an equal amount is poured into each bottle, how much bubble mixture will be in each bottle? So remember, try to be fancy here again. You are dividing. Your total is 1/2, and you're dividing it by 8. So that would be your initial equation. So when we're dividing fractions, we have to use our little helping tip where we keep the first, so we keep the 1/2, we've changed the division to a multiplication, and then we're going to flip that number. And remember, when you have a whole number, there's a 1 underneath. So when we flip it, it's going to become a 1/8. So then you're just going to multiply the numerators together, multiply the denominators, and you will get 1/16. Okay, Malcolm's budget allows him to spend $50 each week. He listed the expenses he might have each week on the table below. Malcolm's expenses total $62. Which expense listed on the table should Malcolm probably eliminate to balance his budget? So you're going to take how much he can spend, how much his expenses actually are, subtract the two, and you should be able to come up with one of those things that he can eliminate from his budget. Number 36. Which graph below shows the location of the ordered pair in this input-output table? The model shown below is a composite of two rectangular prisms. What is the volume of the model? Okay, you've probably done one like this, but what you're going to have to do is find the volume of each rectangular prism and then add those two volumes together to find the total. Number 38. Sakta will use the numerical expression below to help him solve a problem. What is the value of the expression? Number 39. A fruit farm grows 4,486 apple trees in 5 different orchards. Each orchard has about the same number of apple trees. Which is the best estimate of the number of apple trees in each orchard? Number 40. Miguel will place a dot at 1, 3 and a dot at 7, 9 on the grid. Then he will draw a straight line that connects the two dots. Which ordered pair is located on the line that Miguel will draw? Number 41. Elaine puts 0.05 liters of honey into each batch of cookie dough she prepares. How many liters of honey does she put in 4 batches of cookie dough? Number 42. Nathaniel has a sack that contains 1/3 pound of crackers. If he eats 1/9 pound of the crackers, what fraction of the pound of crackers will remain in the sack? Number 43. The table shows the weights of small, medium, and large sacks of pistachios that are sold at Newman's House of Nuts, which shows the total weight of 6 large sacks of pistachios. So what you're going to do is you are going to take your large sack, which is 3/4, and you're going to multiply it by 6. When you do that, you just do 6 over 1. So when you multiply 3 times 6, it gives you 18. And then you multiply 4 and 1 and get 4. So you know that's an improper fraction, so I want you to convert it because you can do that. But you have to figure out how many 4s go into 18 and how many are left over. Okay, number 44. 5 students graphed the amount of glass bottles they placed in the recycle bin last month. How many more kilograms of bottles did Sonia and Wyatt recycle together than Paige and Dante together? So what you're going to do first is you have to figure out how many Sonia and Wyatt. So Sonia, it looks like it's about 1.9, and Wyatt is right on the 2 point. So you're going to take 1.9, the 2.0, you're going to add them up, and you get 3.9. So then let's look at Paige and Dante. Paige looks like she's 0.9, and Dante looks at about 0.1, actually 1.8. So when we take those two numbers, we've got 1.8 plus 0.9, as you see I'm lining up my decimals, and that gives us, looks like 2.7. So when you subtract those two numbers, it will give you your answer. Okay, number 45. Look at the diagram. We have an isosceles triangle, we have a right triangle, and we have something in the middle. It says, which is an example of a triangle that is both isosceles and right? Interesting. So remember, Right triangles are angles. So when you're looking at right, we have acute, obtuse, and right. So that's an angle. And then isosceles is the sides. So it's either equilateral, isosceles, or scalene. Well, an isosceles has two equal sides. And so we need to find a triangle that has a right angle, which is B or D. And then it has two equal sides, which is going to be your D. Okay, number 46. Look at the diagram below. What is the area of the shaded part of the diagram in square units? Number 47. Look at this model. This model represents which expression? To me, it looks like you have a total of 5, and you divided each one of them into how many parts? So I want you to look for an expression that says that. Number 48. Hizako is thinking of a number. The number is a prime number. The number is greater than 43, but less than 52. So of which number is Hizako thinking? So remember, a prime number only has one factor pair, 1 in itself. And for this one, you might need to remember the rule of threes, which if you can add the two numbers together and find the sum, and that sum can be divided by 3, that 3 goes into it. Okay, Gregorio, I guess is how you say his name. We'll call him G. Sorted and weighed the nuts in a can of mixed nuts. Look at the table. What was the total weight of the nuts in cans? So if we look at the first one, if they're in 5s, that's going to be 24. Then we have 12. Looks like 13. And 19. And when we add those up, we get, that's 8. So that's 68, and this is ounces. So if you look, that's not an answer choice because they've converted some of the ounces to pounds. So what you're going to have to do is look on your chart, figure out how many ounces are in a pound, see how many pounds that you can take out of the 68 ounces, and then the remaining will be the ounces left over. Number 50. Gino and Kyle are playing a game with numbers. When Gino says a number, Kyle adds 1.5 to the number. Gino will say the numbers 0, 2, 4, and 6 as shown in the table below. Which graph shows the ordered pair that would appear in the completed table? So you're adding 0.15 to each of those numbers.